Thanks for joining us. We just wanted to provide the following disclaimer. Many of our episodes were recorded prior to the start of the Screen Actors Guild and Writers Guild's ongoing labor dispute. We wanted to warn you as there is a ban on promoting projects in podcasts currently for any striking actors. We totally support the ongoing labor action and both the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild in their dispute. We just wanted to make this clear, and once we have moved past those pre-recorded episodes, we will no longer continue to discuss ongoing or upcoming projects. Thank you for your time, and please enjoy the show.
Is it a sandwich? Oh, is it a sandwich? If I called a hot dog a sandwich, do you think that you'd be fine with it? If not, then why? Let's bust this wide. Mary, Carrie, Kelly, Matt, oh my, is it a sandwich? Well, let's decide.
Welcome to Season 5, and welcome to the Cola Wars. Order up.
Scary.
We're taking people on a journey in Season 5.
So.
To the deep, dark soda waters.
Oh my.
I love it. Hello, listeners. I am your friend, your pal, Kelly Zemnikas, and I am joined, as always, by my friends and my pals, and yours as well, Matt and Mary and Carrie. Friends, how are we feeling about, I got to do a check-in about the pineapple and pizza from last season. Mary, have you come to terms with the fact that you didn't win?
I didn't win. And you know what? That's okay. I can be an okay loser about it. I still don't understand why people like hot fruit, to quote one of our guests, off a pizza. And I can tell you, because I am Italian by marriage, that my family, the Italian side of my family, is outraged. That's what I could say.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, we'll have to extend a peace offering, some margarita pizzas to your entire family.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And nothing is going to repair this, I don't think, but it's okay.
I'm sorry to hear that. It's
Sorry. Well, hopefully this season, because we're going to go into the beverage side of things for this season, maybe I'm curious to know, listeners at home, so what we're doing is we're going to talk about how you say, or what do you say rather? Do you say soda pop or soda pop? And I'm very curious how this is going to go. I think it's going to be very regional based, because I think we all say it differently. Carrie, what do you think Canada is going to say for this one?
Well, I live in Toronto, the center of the universe, so I can't speak for all of Canada. I say pop. I do code switch when I go to America and say soda. And then I feel kind of like one of those kids on an after school special or something. But I'm thinking Canada might go pop. And I don't know if it's varying by province. I think the states might have a bit more variance.
Yeah, I'm on Team Pop as well. What about you, Matt?
Well, I mean, I lived in BC as a little kid, and I visited the East Coast, and so I can say in the middle of the country and on both sides, it's been pop. So I think Canada is kind of a clean sweep for pop across the nation. But yeah, I think America is you got all sorts of regional variances going on there.
Yeah. What about you, Mary? You grew up on the East Coast. You are now West Coast. Have you been code switching?
Absolutely not. No. I'm from
Boston.
It's soda all the way. And I got to tell you, sorry, Canadians, I love you. When I hear pop, I get a little cringy. I feel like really, kids, you're trying to be too different for me. Soda all the way. And I'm a little suspicious of the South, because they say soda, all soda is a Coke. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they want a Sprite, they'd say, I'd like a Coke. Well, that's really confusing. So I feel that I think we need to use this show to talk to the South and say, come on. I'd be happy if they said pop. At least I know what they were talking about. So
exactly.
It is confusing. Yeah.
That's very confusing, but hopefully we'll be able to. I know there's a lot of contentious issues all over this great continent, but hopefully we'll be able to, mend a bridge here. But let's get started as we do with our one and only Matt. What do you have popping up for facts for episode 1?
Okay, well, this is what popped onto my radar. Products get their names from the strangest things. Mountain Dew, for example, was made by Tennesseans who named it after the Tennessee nickname for moonshine. Starbucks' founders were humanities nerds and named their brand after the first mate in Moby Dick, Starbuck, and no, not the Battlestar Galactica character with the same name. And the weird name origins are also strong in the Pepsi brand. Pepsi Cola was invented by a North Carolina druggist with a pretty badass name himself, Caleb Davis Bradham. I mean, Caleb, that name just screams trouble. In 1893, he originally sold his Brad's drink at the soda fountain from his store. And I'll never get used to the fact that there were people who once gave you medication that were basically giving you pop. Like soda jerks are your pharmacists. So weird. But it consisted of sugar, water, caramel, lemon oil, nutmeg, cola nuts, and a few other ingredients. After 5 years of selling his self-named drink, he decided to rename it Pepsi Cola because he thought it would fend off dyspepsia, also known as indigestion. And not just because the fact that drinking something called Brad's drink was slightly weird. Yeah. Now, Coke also has its own sordid history. Created in 1886 and marketed as a temperance drink alternative to alcohol, because sure, alcohol is illegal, but cocaine sure as heck wasn't. It was also an elaborate tax avoidance scam, a tradition as rich people who practice the tradition. Alcohol was heavily taxed in the 19th century, and Coca-Cola wanted you to know it wasn't full of booze, even though it was full of cocaine. A Coca-Cola spokesperson, they told Business Insider, we began painting our barrels red so that tax agents could distinguish them from alcohol during transport. This color continues to define the brand and the Christmas holidays to this day.
Wow.
Interesting.
I wonder if Coke ever thought of going with no filler, all cocaine.
Wow.
And Brad's drink.
Brad's
I'm glad
drink.
he changed the name because
That's hilarious.
that's just.
It'd be weird to go to a place and order that. Hi, can I have a Brad's drink? Can I have a diet Brad? Cherry Brad. It's just gross.
Marketing material that I'm imagining in my head is very disturbing. Oh. Diet Brad is like this hulked out guy in like short shorts. Like, you could be diet like me.
Oh my God. No, I see him in kind of a 70s leisure suit for some reason.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, I don't like that. Who's that guy? Dos Equis.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
That's
most
the guy
interesting man in the world. Yes.
That would be Brad.
Well, and the fact that it was medicine, Kelly.
Yes.
I mean, today, the doctors of today would not prescribe me, a 6-pack of Coke to fix my lazy eye. They're not going to do that.
I know. No one's going to say, take 2 Mountain Dews and call me in the morning. All right, friends. I think we're bubbling to get started on season 5. This is episode 1 of Order Up.
Hey, Kelly, who's our guest today?
All right, we are starting off a brand new season. I was going to say Snap, Crackle, Pop, but that's not a soda reference whatsoever. We need to hire new writers. Speaking of, our guest for our first episode today is a fantastic writer, television writer and producer who has experience in comedy. You know, may have heard their words on CTV's Jan or CBC's Sort of. We've got procedural drama. CBC's The Corner and Digstown are a couple of their credits. Also, youth programming, you know, like YTV's Popularity Papers, and some fun genres like Shudder's Slasher. I love putting those two together. Our guest today is a very proud member of the 2SL LGBTQ+ and BIPOC communities. They are committed to diversity and inclusion in all of their work, and we are delighted that they're starting off a new season with us. Please give it up for JP Larocque.
Yay! Thank you for having me. What an excellent transition you did from kind of leading into my bio from writing. That was very artful.
I did go to theater school, so thank you.
Relatable. I went to film school, so.
Nice. Well, we are delighted you are here, and I'm going to hand it over to my fabulous co-host, Carrie, who's going to ask you 5 ridiculously hard questions, just super tough.
I am going to ask the 5 hard-hitting questions, but before we do, I just wondered, JP, do you have any thoughts on our facts that Matt shared with us today?
Yeah, like the dyspepsia thing was kind of mind-blowing. So I was like, oh my God, like their entire brand is built around like dyspepsia. That's like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, and if they were to go back to rebranding themselves authentically to like their brand, they would just call themselves dyspepsia.
Yeah.
So
I think you should just call it stomach ache water or something.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I knew about Coke. Like I knew Coke had started as this kind of like medication of sorts, but I didn't realize that all of these pops have some root in like somebody being like, this sugar water is gonna solve your problems. Like,
I know.
right? It makes sense though. I mean, like you drink a pop and like you're like, oh, this is like vaguely medicinal, right? Because it doesn't taste natural, right? So you're like, okay, maybe it has some kind of restorative properties. It makes you hyper, right? So
yeah, it absolutely does. And I've got to say, I love how like, you know, things are coming back in style, like, you know, scrunchies and maybe rotary phones will be a thing again. I think we should bring back the original name of Pepsi. I
agree. I just want to see like a, you know, like a Beyonce or like a Spice Girl just dancing around, and then, you know, behind them like a big screen that just says dyspepsia. Right? Like it just, I don't know.
Making dyspepsia fashionable again.
I think so.
Yes, bringing it back. Retro. Everything's retro.
Everything's retro. Well, we're going to jump into the hard-hitting questions. I hope you're prepared. Here's question 1. JP, what was your favorite beverage as a kid?
Okay, so when I was thinking about this, I actually, I have like a bit of a complicated answer. And the first part is like, I was like, does this count as a beverage? And what I mean by that is, I used to like to drink Neocitran as a child. No.
What?
Sorry. So
I did it. My sister, they had to pump her stomach.
So to clarify, Neocitran is, I mean, it's a medication used to treat cold and flu that has a bit of a like sleepy quality to it. And as a child, I would get sick, and then I would, as a treat, receive this sweet tasting fluid that would put me to sleep. And so I loved Neocitran. Now, to be clear, I didn't drink it all the time, and my parents did police me. But they did police me around it, so they were like making sure that I wasn't, because it is an addictive substance. But I loved it. That was my favorite. And then I was trying to think of like a second favorite that's maybe less problematic. I also really liked, like they had the pink version of Orange Crush. It was like
Mm.
it was like cream soda, I guess is usually what it was called.
Yeah.
I loved that. That was like, I would drink maybe way too much of that. Like I would fill a glass and then I would like sit in front of like Saturday morning cartoons and then just like mainline sugar. Just like watch Transformers and, all like Gem and like all of the things. So
Yeah. Oh my God.
I had a friend.
I'm dating myself, I feel. But anyway.
I had a friend whose dad had like a cool den that had like a soda machine.
No.
And we mixed.
So jealous.
Yeah, we go for every time he had a birthday, we'd go and we'd watch like anime because he'd rented on video cassettes back then. Dating myself as well.
Yeah.
And we'd make soda, like we'd take cream soda and then mix it with all of the other pops.
Oh wow!
But it always just kind of tasted like cream soda because that's just the strongest flavor.
It was the most dominant flavor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, it's like, because even when I think about like ice cream floats from like childhood, I feel like they always kind of tasted like cream soda. Like that was just kind of the dominant. Like it just kind of it canceled all other pops out because of its sweetness. Anyway, I want more of that. So.
Cream them.
I actually, first of all, I think the first answer, the Neocitran answer, is going to be our most. I'm wondering if anyone's going to top that answer for the whole season. That is the best, and I love Neocitran. I have to admit it.
It was good. It was.
Still is. I'm not.
It
gonna
is
lie.
right. Like it's a treat. It's like it's like a warm hug, and it tastes like lemony and sweet, and it's just like, and then you just you drink it, you feel better, and then you lose consciousness.
You lose consciousness. It's true, though. It's true.
Oh,
Okay, question 2.
Thank you for this being a safe space, by the way, for me to talk about my Neocitran.
The Neocitran habits are safe here. What drink reminds you of your parents?
So I would say with my mom, Ovaltine is a drink that reminds me of my parents. Now, is that resonating at all? Ovaltine?
Yeah, that's a deep cut. Ovaltine.
Okay. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I mean, like kind of like it was like almost like a hot chocolate of sorts, but like not sweet. Like it was like just a chocolate. Like it was just like a basic. I don't know.
My dad bought some recently.
Really?
I'm just gonna say my dad bought a thing of it. He decided to go off coffee. Oh, and Ovaltine. I hijacked your answer. I'm sorry, JP.
No. I actually felt very supportive in you kind of coming on because I had this moment of worrying where I was like, I said Ovaltine, and then I was like, there was kind of blank looks, and I was like, oh no, what have I done? Like I was like, I got the reaction from Ovaltine that I was expecting to get for Neocitran. So I was like, oh no, like I did something. Ovaltine did something to somebody. Like I don't.
I always wanted to like Ovaltine, and I never liked it, but it just seemed like this cool, vaguely American thing. I don't even know we're in Canada. Like it always seems sort of cool American to me.
Yeah,
it's
like the
not
Christmas
special.
story.
It's not special, right?
No.
Like there's nothing flavorful about it, and it's just I think it's almost more of a texture drink. Like it's like kind of like a hot chocolate or it feels that way to drink it, but it's not sweet. I don't know. There's something, but my mom, anyway, she would drink it a lot. And so when I was thinking, I was like, oh, that's like a very parent drink. I feel like Ovaltine. Also, I feel like it kept you regular. Sorry.
They could totally rebrand Ovaltine for the seniors market.
I think it was like an oat drink or something like that.
Yes, it was malt, wasn't it? It was like made of malt. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like there was some kind of like when we talk about like medicinal drinks, I feel like that was something that was sold in some way as like being good for your digestive system, which is probably why my mom really liked it.
It probably is. There's probably some benefit.
Maybe.
Here we go. This is a big question. Coffee or tea or neither or neither?
Easy. It's coffee, 100%.
Yeah.
I can't function without coffee. I did try. There was like a 6-month period in my life where I quit coffee, and I was drinking green tea instead.
Oh my gosh!
And I will say it was the healthiest 6 months of my life. Like I was like my skin was glowing, and like I was like full of I felt like I was very full of ideas, and like I was like exercising. Yeah, I was like, all the antioxidants had like taken out whatever impurities were in my system.
Yeah.
But then I snuck a coffee one morning because like I was at work and someone had the coffee out, and I took one sip of it, and I was more productive in that morning than I had been in the previous 6 months. And I was like, that's it. I have to coffee. I'm sorry, you win. You win.
Maybe you just wrote 4 episodes. What happened? Okay.
Right? Immediately I was like, wow, I'm a better person on coffee. So I was probably less insufferable.
I think we all are. Now, big question, how do you take your coffee?
Mm-hmm.
I would say I usually take it with like a splash of either like regular milk or oat milk. No sugar.
No
That's
sugar.
like my vibe. I can't do it black. Black is like too
I do.
it like I mean I admire. That's pretty hardcore.
Thank you.
I feel like when you meet somebody who just drinks their coffee black, you're like, whoa, don't mess with that person. Right?
That's
Because
like
it's potent. It is grown up coffee.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I mean, I did drink it in university because, it was in the 90s and you had to, and I was like, I'll have a double frappe latte thing.
With a twist.
With like the size of my head. But like, I've had non-American roasts, like roasts that are done differently, and it's actually, I'm like, I can see why people drink this.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
It's like just like that Starbucks and Tim Hortons, like they roast the flavor out of the coffee.
Yeah, I feel like the flavor of coffee, at least this is what I found, the older you get, the more you appreciate like the nuances of the flavor of it.
Yeah.
Whereas like, again, when I was in high school, I would go to like the Tim Hortons across the street, and I would get that like French vanilla one, which was basically just hot chocolate with caffeine in it. And I was like, oh, like that was my gateway, really, truly into coffee. But it wasn't coffee, right? Like, whereas now I feel like I have an appreciation, and also there's a pretentious culture around coffee too, which is kind of fun or annoying depending on who you talk to.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny you mentioned like drinking coffee, like in university or high school. I started drinking coffee in my 30s, long before. I had no interest in it. I was like a green tea girl. I used to work at CBC on a show called Royal Canadian Air Force. And I was like, each morning I had green tea or water, and everyone on the show was like, how can you not drink the coffee? I'm like, I've never had coffee. It wasn't until I was about 32 did I have my first cup of coffee. And dude, I'm hooked.
So like, what I want to know is, what was the turning point for you? Like, what was the thing that made you want to have your first coffee?
This may sound ridiculous, but I got burnt out in TV. Shocker. And I left the industry and I started waitressing, and I worked at a diner that serves very good Greek coffee. And I was like, where has this magic juice been my entire life? So I started waitressing in my 30s, and I started drinking coffee.
Yeah. And you appreciated it because of that, again, that Greek coffee, like the attention to detail, the specific flavor, probably the presentation of it was really attractive. Like those things that I feel as you get older, you appreciate more, right? You're like, oh, like this is like, I don't know, there's like a kind of a specialness, like a bit of a thing around this beverage, the magic liquid, that magic fluid, right? Like,
it's so interesting. You just reminded me, my parents drink coffee, and I didn't drink coffee till teachers college, and then now I drink it, but very once in a while, my parents would drink Turkish coffee. Ooh. And then you do the thing. Have you ever done that thing? And then there's a little bit of sort of mud at the bottom.
Yes.
And then they would swirl the cup and flip it upside down.
Yeah.
And then wait till it kind of dried out. And then knowledgeable people read the cup.
Yes.
To see the fortune. My mother loves that. She's like, oh, I see money. I see money in the cup. Okay. I see dirt in the cup, but whatever.
I feel like there is a whole thing, and I was going to say, like, I feel like I once went to a like, I guess, psychic seer of sorts who did a reading using that method, and I remember being like so like mystified, and I was like, oh, that, like, again, that whole process of it and everything, and then I remember, like, I can't remember at the time, they were like, oh, and you're gonna like marry like a beautiful woman, and I was like immediately like, not real. Like, I was like, sorry, I'm pretty gay. So.
Where does it say that
you
in
are
my
wrong.
cup?
No. Is there? Are you sure there's not a penis in there? Like, sorry. Sorry. You can hopefully bleep that out.
No, it's
going in. It's going in.
This is gold. This is gold. Okay. Do you say soda pop or soda pop?
Pop. Definitely pop. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like when I've traveled to the US, I've heard soda. I've never heard anyone say soda pop. Like, I don't think I've ever heard someone like say to me, hey, do you want a soda pop? Like, I've never heard it.
I heard like in Little Rascals from the 1930s. That's about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey there, do you want a soda pop?
Right? Like that makes sense to me. But I'd never in the wild like interacted with another human being who was like,
pay attention to that.
Have you heard soft drink?
Yes, I have heard soft drink. But like on planes, like I feel like that was a thing that on, like you'd be on a plane or you'd be on a like form of transit, like a boat or a like train. Someone would say to you, "Would you like a soft drink?" Right?
Do you need alcohol or do you want this baby?
Yes. Yes. The hard drink, the soft drink. Yes.
Agreed. Okay. And what is this is the last hard-hitting question. What's your favorite pop?
I would say, so this is like a tough one for me. I've just been like sitting, like thinking about these questions, like mulling, just thinking about pops and like intense detail and all of these like flavor memories coming back. I feel like I've done a pivot recently. So for the longest time, I would have said that I was very much into ginger ale. Like, I really like ginger ale. Like, I felt like it just feels like a sensible pop. It feels like a pop of maturity. Like, you've come to this place in your life where you still want the sweetness, you want the bubbles, but you want something that'll settle your stomach, right? Like, it's just kind of like, anyway, so I would say that. However, in the last couple weeks, I've been really falling back in love with root beer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I love going to A&W where they have the chilled glasses and you get like this big chilled, and it's just, there's something so much better.
Have you had the frozen root beer?
No.
That's another experience.
What's that?
That's taking root beer. It's like a root beer.
It's like a
slushy. And it is heaven.
I think a new addiction will begin for me. No more Neocitran.
How do you feel about ginger beer? As opposed to ginger ale?
I do really good. Like ginger beer. I feel like ginger beer though is like, it is very potent, right?
Yes,
so it is that thing of like I'll like it. I might like it in a cocktail, or I might like it by itself in a very particular circumstance. But I feel like ginger ale is a more versatile drink, right? Like you can have ginger ale kind of whenever, and whereas I feel like ginger beer, you kind of want to sit with it, you want to appreciate it. It's usually stronger on the palate, right? Like it's more, it burns a little more. Yeah.
I belch more.
Yeah, you also belch more. I was like, cutting to the chase. I mean, that's really what I wanted to say. So thank you for saying that.
You're welcome,
very supportive.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has been a delight. We usually like keep a tally on past episodes. We've said, we've got so many people on Team Pancake or Team Waffle, but so far, the lead is the answer is pop for what people say when they refer to this non-alcoholic beverage. So episode 1, you are in the lead, friend. With pop being the answer. And friends, tune in next time. We're going to find out what our other guests say. This has been a delight, JP. Where can folks find you on socials and find out what you are up to?
Well, I mean, my name is basically my handle on all forms of social media. So you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, or X or whatever it's called now, I don't know. Or Blue Sky. Anyway, every form of social media that you can imagine. If there's an at JP Larocque, that is me. Hopefully, unless there's a weird form of social media and someone's pretending to be me, which let me know. But otherwise, it should be me anyway. So
go back to that.
Yeah, you can find me there.
That's not you.
Oh, God.
Yeah, not MySpace, no. And also maybe don't look up MySpace because I'm sure whatever I was doing back then was tragic and I don't want to associate it with me anymore. But yeah.
Amazing. We are so thrilled that you came to join us to kick off a new season, and friends will listen, stay tuned for the next one. I'm just all over my words right now. I'm thinking of root beer, frozen root beer. It's tongue-tying me.
Powerful.
See you next time on Order Up.
I am joined today with the most amazing, wonderful, absolutely delightfully good person in the world. It's my wife, Heather Davidson.
Hi.
Okay, 2 questions for you. Do you like ice in your pop?
It depends on where I'm having the pop. We're talking home pop?
Well, home pop or soda pop from outside of the home?
Outside the house, it has to have ice. At home, I don't care.
Okay, and what is your favorite pop?
Fountain Diet Pepsi.
Okay, and why Fountain Diet Pepsi?
Because it tastes watered down and it's not that fizzy.
All right, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Order Up is hosted and produced by Matt Ardill,
Mary Kennedy,
Larry Hayne,
Kelly Zemeckis.
and original music is by Rebecca McDonald.